man, I had to clear my mind and come back and I guess give myself a second take on this and think about how I wanted to relay this message and put this word out. But you know, I find it fitting that I needed to take care of some business, and Monday is Martin Luther King Day, and most people probably, you know, that I deal with now in by the Kansas City area, where I am now, know I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, but don't really know, you know, historically my life, you know. And I'm back home, and like I said, Monday is Martin Luther King Day, and I just want to share some historical value with you guys about me. So I'm standing in front of this church. This is Holt Street Baptist Church. This is the marker for it right here. This is one of the markers for it, and it kind of lets you know that this was one of the churches where they had meetings on the bus boycott at here, right? And if you see the sign, it says the birthplace of the modern civil rights movement in America, 1955, right? This is this church. This church is some work being done to it now. It's a museum. I actually walked through the doors of this church, and we used to go in here with my grandma and my aunts with the 10 and whatnot when my grandma had us all going in here. And the history about it, if you see this right here, these were actually steps, and behind this fence here, there used to be this greenhouse. It was in my family. Now the property here belongs to the church and the museum, or the museum. It was probably given to them by the state. But we were right next to this historical place that had so much effect on America. And you walk in and out of these doors, and I guess it's that when you don't really take control and grab your history, it can walk away from you, and you kind of lose some of who you are, and it just becomes a commonplace, you know. It's not something that you keep at the front of your mind, and you should, because you guys hear that loud truck? That's another piece of history, but you should keep it at the front of your mind, because a lot of people died and a lot of people struggled to get us where we are today in this country. And that value should always be valued, because life is just that precious. God has given us these things, and it's been fought for. So I'm going to show you another historical piece that happened after the bus boycotts. Now, most people hear about redlining, or if you ever heard about it, you really don't know what it is, but this is a perfect example of it. So it's some justice for you. You see that? That's a highway, 6585, I-65, I-85. That highway is not just a city thing or state thing, but a federal thing as well. Now, in order to get that funding, it had to come down federally, right? So you think that really think of what that did to this side of town. This is the west side of Montgomery, and it deteriorated over a period of time because of the highways that have been put through here. It ran out some of the industry that were here and some of the small businesses that were here. This side of town was basically, if you heard of Greenwood, it was a thriving side of town. It was the predominantly black side of town, and it was very much intentional that highway happened to be put in here on this side of town in front of this historical place. You know, I just wanted to add some perspective, and we still have to realize that, hey, that sometimes these things are a healing wound, you know. And my history is in my DNA. It's coded and it's ingrained in my DNA. I'll never forget this place. I'll always love this place. Montgomery's always going to have a place in my heart. It's always going to be home. I always say I'm from Montgomery before I say I'm from anywhere else. I'll never forget this memory as long as I live. If you guys are ever in this city, if this museum is open, please stop by it. Please look at it, view it. But this is a part of your history as well. Whether you want to accept that or know that or not, it's a part of your history. And if I've been of value in your life, just know where I come from. This is where I come from. I come from humble beginnings, a humble place. We didn't have much. Right around here, right around the street from here, is a place called Cleveland Court. Now, when you look at it on a Sanborn map, and most people don't know what a Sanborn map is, a Sanborn map is basically a map of the city that you can go to your archives and get. And it's this big map. There was Rosa Parks, and it's a historical marker for that. Her apartment, it's in basically a housing projects, and it says on the Sanborn map, it says Federal Housing Projects for the Colored. I have pictures on that. So the reality is, after a certain period in time, whether you want to say it's slavery or whatever, the government had to have something to do with all the black people. So they put them in housing projects. That's the reality of what you see. And that was a continued practice, right? They look like prisons and labor camps. I'm gonna be honest with you. And we come out of the housing projects, right? They look like prisons and labor camps. And man, it's so sad that human beings can do that to other human beings, but you have to know that in order to value what life really is, and to value and honor the history of what all these people came through and they struggled for. The woman that left this, my grandmother inherited this house from, name was Essie Draper, and she used to be a cook in this church. Like I say, I went to Vacation Bible School here when I was younger. We did several things inside of this church, and my grandma, faithfully went here until her passing. And I think I was 19, somewhere around that, 46 now. But enough of that. My city, it's still growing, it's still developing, it still has its birthing pains. But there's value inside of this city, and I hope that I know that I'll be back to take some advantage of that and get some value out of that, because this is home. It'll always be that. It'll always have a special place in my heart, no matter where I am. But you guys enjoy this video. Enjoy your MLK Day. I'll enjoy mine, because that's my day off. So it's really everything. You talk about diversity and inclusion. It's really everything. But this country's built by all of us now, and we all have to fight to stay free from any oppression. Any oppression. We all have to fight and stay free. We all have to fight and work together. Because if one of us loses, then all of us lose. We have to remember that. You guys have a good day.